never would have happened.
On go. Hello, Steely people. It's us again. Yes, it's that time where everybody gets really excited. And then Phil gets everybody else excited. And then they go 6 and 11. It's brilliant, isn't it? Welcome to, is that our third? Is that our third season? I think it is.
This is our third.
Yeah. Didn't
Season 3.
Didn't even
Season
wreck you that
3.
either. Yeah, cracking.
Just to let you know, this is all going to be available on DVD. Including
Blu-ray,
the back
mate.
seasons.
Blu-ray.
What's
Yeah.
What's a DVD? Jesus
I'm not
Christ.
buying anything below Blu-ray. I want at least 4K.
We can't
I
afford
don't want
that.
Phil
That's
in
not our
4K.
budget.
I should say that Lee pointed out that it's actually National Phil Day. We have racked our brains, but we can't think of any Phils that we'd want to give any shout outs to. So we'll just crack on. What we're going to do is try and condense everything into sort of, be quiet, into the positions. So we'll start with quarterback. Obviously, how they've performed in pre-season, how they're going to do, any new signings, anybody we picked up in free agency, blah, 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 blah. We'd all put it into that. Then what we'll do is we'll do our predictions for the season, get some season records, see where we end up. Then we'll do some. We've got some good hot takes and some bad hot takes. So that'll be quite fun. We'll also do our AFC and NFC champs, and also our dark horses for the Super Bowl. And then we should be merrily on our way. Cool. Right. We've got Callum, Lee, Shush, Phil, Stephen, and Rhys. Look at him. We just can't wait. It's been so long.
In Spain, drinking under the sun for ages with only misses to keep.
I just wanted to say, nice little bit of merch going on here from Togs. From Emma.
Togs by Emma.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. Very good
quality.
quality.
One there.
That is lovely.
Super sexy. I guarantee the women or men will be screaming for you wearing this cap. Screaming.
Remember, Phil, that's the first one they've done of that design. You've got the first one.
Unique.
So there you go.
Imagine Phil being the test subject for anything.
Unbelievable. Cool. Right.
So,
just very quickly, just a shout out to Stuart Love. I was going to bring him on as a special guest. Done his homework. He was ready. He was willing.
Watching Hibs. He's at Hibs with the wife, isn't he?
His wife got him Hibs tickets. Just as a background, he's actually a Hearts fan.
Oh, yeah.
And to make it even worse, they're playing the Villa, which is just disgusting. So he sends his apologies. We'll try and get him on to the mid-season one if we can. I did reach out
that's
to...
pretty much like five-a-side football, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. I did reach out to one Simon Winstanley as well, just on the off chance, but they're recording something called the UK Steelers podcast or something. I never heard of it. So let him crack on with that crap. Yeah. So otherwise he would have been here, so which would have been quite fun.
Who the hell want to listen to loads of guys talking about the Steelers? I mean, that's a shit.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Right. Let's make a start. So obviously we'll just go through the player positions. We'll start off as per usual with obviously the quarterback. Obviously Kenny is just on fire. I know it's pre-season. I try not to get too excited. But you know, he's playing well. 3 drives, 3 touchdowns. What more can you want? There looks like there's just a purpose in that first team offense.
Consistency over 12 passes. That's what I want.
I love it. It's beautiful. I mean, it's not just Kenny Pickett. It's Kenny fucking Pickett. You know what I mean?
Use his full name, Kenny Tiny Hands fucking Pickett. But as good as looking over pre-season, it's been for 1 or 2 drives.
Yeah,
like literally. If you can do that over, give me 2/3 of the game. If you can do that over 2/3 of the game, I'm down.
And with people scheming against him as well. So, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, here's the king, though. You've got a team behind him now.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
That's very much. We'll get to that bit as well.
Yeah.
But like, it is what 12
No,
plays.
Callum's 12.
I think he's
Right.
done. No, but he's done 12 plays over pre-season.
Yeah.
He's done 12 drives.
Yeah.
And he is, 11 out of 12, and that's great.
Yeah.
But
Like I said,
it's only
pre-season.
12.
Yeah, exactly.
And me being one of like Pickett's biggest, like, I'm not quite sure where he's going. What I've seen so far, I've liked.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
All I need to know is that he's going to do it consistently.
Yeah, and people scheming against him. So yeah.
I mean, what I find interesting with what you're saying, I actually agree with exactly what you're saying there, Lee. It's quite early right now. It's only the pre-season and stuff like that. So I totally get that, but I also understand why it's not on all the time in the field for the pre-season game.
Oh, good, yeah, because breakage, all that kind of stuff.
But you have to also remember that in the back end of the season, Pickett was fantastic, and that's for the team that it wasn't built around him as well, and he did really well to do that. So the fact that, as you rightly said, just for the few snaps that he's actually done, he's been absolutely on the ball. I don't know how any Steelers fan can not be excited about what we're seeing at the moment. And I think we're going to diverge.
I've been hurt before.
Yeah,
I've been hurt before, man.
every single week. Yeah, for me.
Anybody wants Rudolph as number 2 rather than Trubisky?
Yes, yes.
And
yes. So much yes, and I never thought I'd say that in my entire life. But yes.
Yeah.
And that's we're playing with a rubbish O-line and Kendrick Green, so it's like.
I know. Like I said, it's so hard to judge.
Oh, yeah. a second team O-line. I mean.
But for me, I was having a conversation with a mate, and we were talking about Trubisky. It was on week 1, and his entire outlook on Trubisky was Bears broke him. Like whatever confidence that man had, the Bears just destroyed.
Don't know.
I mean, in some respects, it's understandable, isn't it? I mean, a rookie's come in, not to out the job. This is last season, and he was a captain on the sideline.
Being drafted before arguably stars in, obviously Mahomes is the best player we've seen for a long time, but also Deshaun Watson as well. Arguably, when he were at his peak, a star of the league. So the pressure of the amount of pressure the Bears put on him as well to be their franchise guy.
I don't know what Trubisky was quite like at college, though. Does anyone know what he was like at college? I'm not.
It was
his final season was
yeah. He was your typical kind of project, but the highest ceiling you can imagine, kind of QB.
Yeah.
It was
his final year was really good. He's not as good as Burrow, but that's
no.
Sort of.
It's like Deshaun Watson was clearly the kind of the most NFL ready at the time, and Trubisky was probably more of the kind of he fit the suit. 6'5", Tuesday. This is the QB kind of look, and also he had the biggest ceiling out of all of them. The fact that you trade up to get him,
he was very much a project.
Yeah, and the fact that they had Matt Nagy as well, who was considered like a proper QB whisperer as well. So yeah, Bears fans. I remember coming out of Wembley. Tottenham when they played the Raiders in London, and the amount of Bears fans just looked at me and went, "I don't know what the hell happened." Like they were so happy that they got finally a QB whispering head coach, the QB of the future, and they were just heartbroken that they knew that it was done. They knew that 3-4 years ago. So. Yeah, I still rate Trubisky a bit, but not QB1.
Not for us.
No.
I just think Rudolph would make less mistakes than Trubisky.
Yeah, I'm actually with you with that one.
Rudolph,
that's what you want.
I think he's a good second place. He's a number 2 quarterback. That's what he is. He knows the system. He's reliable.
I'm going to hate to say this. Rudolph has got laundry basket syndrome.
Yeah. But
Rudolph is our second generation laundry basket. That's what Rudolph is.
Yeah.
He's more consistent than Trubisky.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not
less
great
mistakes for me,
but he's not great most of the time. Whereas Trubisky is either okay or a car crash.
He's the better deep ball thrower as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got a hell of a deep ball. That's his main skill, isn't it?
The Calvin Austin throw was,
I think the big problem you've got is with Trubisky is like what 10 million against the cap, whereas like this season, and I think Rudolph's like $1 million. So I think that's the issue in some respects. Like if Trubisky was like around the same sort of figures, then I'd be like, you know what, we've got a fantastic performance here. We can invest in more areas or whatever it might be, and we'd have a relatively strong backup of quarterbacks. But because you've got such a massive cap hit for a quarterback 2 string, and it's not really much better than our, in theory, quarterback, third quarterback, which is probably what it'll be.
Yeah.
That's a big thing, isn't it? If and that's kind of my thought on that, really. I think Mason's better as at the moment. I think he's a better. He should be number 2.
He hasn't had a better camp, but then Lee will say it's not about it's about games, isn't it? I suppose in game form
situations, isn't it?
But I think Rudolph had a far better camp last year than he is doing now. He's having a pretty mediocre camp compared to Trubisky, who's actually played a really, really good camp. Has not turned the ball over. And this is with pretty stout defense coming at him. I don't know. It's one of those, isn't it?
Yeah, it's what you do on the field.
It is. Yeah.
Within the group when not sure who was in the group when Landry fucking Jones was our backup.
Who?
Likely my friends talking about Landry Jones. Fucking Jones, because that's how I always said his name. Because I was usually annoyed when the people he knew the same, and he never tried to do anything. Rudolph is now, like, literally, if he just told.
You're breaking up a bit there, Lee.
Is he just swearing all the time? Is that what
That's natural
I'm just muting him. I've just got a mute button going like this. You're breaking up a bit, Lee.
Pound in the jar for every swear.
I don't swear.
Do say fuck all. Shall we all wave at Tanner Morgan? Shall we all wave at him? Bye-bye. See you later. Ta-ra.
Can I just say, though, how nice it is? We're having a debate on who the QB2 and QB3 are.
Yeah, exactly. So,
That's such a lovely. It's a nice problem.
It's great. Yeah.
And obviously, hopefully, in an ideal world, we don't even need to see Trubisky or Rudolph even.
Exactly. So,
funny enough, do you remember last year? In episode 1, season 2?
Yeah, if you like, cool.
And
I can't remember yesterday, mate.
It's a completely different conversation, wasn't it? Because we didn't even know who our number one quarterback was going to be. So I agree with what you're saying there. That's
exactly. So at least that's nice. Sorted.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is a nice segue into running backs, because there's a bit of going on. Yeah. So a bit of rumblings out of obviously behind the scenes that Nagy isn't happy. There was a very sort of awkward interview when he was asked about Jalen Warren, who's one carry 64 yards, whatever it was. So thoughts on that? I mean, for me personally, I think you go with Nagy. I think you soften up that defense. You know, he's a hard guy. He's a hitter. He wears defenses out, and then you spot Warren when he's needed, and you can pick those holes and
wear them down.
He's still a number 2 in my eyes. He's still a number 2 for me.
Wear them down with Nagy, and then
get
them,
Or if that's not working, you've got the second half as well. So that's my take. Nagy's obviously wants to play and wants to be the number 1 because he's got that sort of draft.
And there's things I think he is the number 1.
There's things he can do more than Warren. So it's that people aren't picking up on.
The thing with that Warren, the thing with that Warren touchdown was Derrick Henry wouldn't have scored that. Najee Harris wouldn't have scored it, but neither would Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
the sense of that burst of speed that kind of goes around the corner.
Yeah, totally.
that's something that Nagy has, or that Nagy doesn't have that Jalen Warren does. It doesn't mean that he's a better running back. I would say he's a breath of fresh air, Jalen Warren, as much as
Yeah.
I like
the
him.
amount of times
I like
last year I saw him check into hot routes on, blocking and things like that. You just think, okay, this guy's willing to put his body in the way, and that's fucking amazing to see.
Yeah, that's what you want. Yeah.
As a pure running back, no, Nagy's still better. He's still clear to me. I think there's much of a debate there.
I actually agree with that. Definitely, it's a good solid number 2. I think you need that worker. In some respects, probably not as effective, but Harris reminds me of Bell in that respect, of just constant bang, 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 but not as good as Bell. But because Bell was just unique, wasn't it?
Bell was special.
But in terms of that, like smashing in and then gets up, smashing and gets up and smashed in, and he might not get a yard, but he's still going for it. He's going for it. And I do like that. And I remember the conversation last year that we were all having, because certainly by episode 2, season 2, so in the middle, we're like, what the hell is he doing? Because if I remember rightly, we were all criticising, myself included.
Yeah.
As
soon as you said that, he went on a literally on a run. So
he went on a bending in and went absolutely bent, someone just went through it.
Yeah.
And I think he can do it again this year. I mean, obviously we'll touch on the O line and obviously what they'll do, but obviously they hit a sort of a good peak as well. So obviously goes hand in hand. So
he was hampered for that part of the season, though, wasn't he, with his foot
as well?
Yeah. You won't have any of that to have a steel plate in his shoe. I never heard of such a thing, a steel plate in his shoe. I was not going to help anything, but anyway, that's probably rude. Just take a steel plate out your shoe, then you'll be able to do something. I don't know.
I think your sideline's got magnets and stuff to keep you behind the line.
Maybe it's like that thing from from Russia with Love. There's just a spike that they can just kick defenders out.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
I think we need that.
I guess McFarland will make the cut. I guess. I think his last chance to lose. Yeah, I'll be happy.
He's looked the best he's looked the best he's ever been, really.
Yeah. It's a good third one to have. I don't know who's left on the roster at running back. I've just got those 3, so I think it's just
Greg Bell and Dankins, that's one. But there's no one else pushing.
Much on the.
No, it's a fairly set. Yeah, it's a fairly set camp, isn't it, for the 3 of them?
Yeah. Obviously, Connor Haywood is listed at fullback, or he was this morning on Steelers.com. So
he's a football player.
He's a football player. Also a tight end, obviously.
And a wide receiver, if you want to put him in that as well.
Yeah.
He does more
head coach. Yeah.
He can throw the football.
Younger brother.
Yeah. But yeah, he'll do a job for sure. Whether we'll see Kendrick Green at fullback, who knows? Hopefully not, because he won't be around. But there we are. Cool. Should we hit the wide receivers?
Yeah.
So we've got Deontay Johnson, George, never heard of him, Pickens. We've got Allen Robinson as well, Miles Boykin, Calvin Austin, and our lovely Gunner. Those are the ones I've got listed.
Well, for me, Pickens is definitely number 1. I don't know how anyone would say anything otherwise, and if you do, then you're going to get shot in the foot.
I'd still have Johnson at number 1 until Pickens.
I can come up with an argument. I can come up with an argument, Phil, against it, but go on.
Yeah, but then you see the problem is you still have to score. Right, I know that Johnson's had the most catches last year, but at the end of the day, he scored no touchdowns, and that's a real gripe. I get that he was moving the ball forward. I'm, so I'm not completely naive. You know what I mean? And I know it wasn't the best team offensively while they were trying to find their feet. But he had a shitload of catches. Quite a reasonable amount of yards, but he didn't get that touchdown, and ultimately that's what's cost us games. Not getting the quick touchdowns, because we had 18. I think we had an average of 18 points a game offensively, roughly. So I just think if Johnson had got at least a couple of touchdowns, I'll probably be thinking differently. in that respect.
Hello, sorry about that.
No worries, Lee.
Something
No
went
worries.
awry.
No worries.
Last I heard was talking about Najee and his unwillingness to give Warren props.
Yeah, we just we had a obviously quick chat. We just moved on to the receivers. We just said sort of like, you know, Najee's still sort of number one. It can sort of weaken that defense, and then obviously you can spot Warren where needed. Thunder and lightning, basically. McFarland obviously a solid number 3. So that's all we've touched on really. So we just started on the wide receivers. So we're just talking about Deontay.
Deontay. I think we're going to start seeing less of him.
I don't know. Oh, right, okay. So this touches on my hot take, which I'll say later. But
this is going on my hot take as well.
So I think Pickens is getting a lot of attention. Obviously, it's going to be a breakthrough year. You know,
I think Sammy Johnson.
If he gets separation, he's going to be phenomenal. Blah 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 blah. I think this plays into Johnson's hands an absolute treat. I think they're going to key on Pickens and force him to make plays. But which will leave Johnson a very happy bunny. And I'm a big Johnson fan. I don't care about no touchdowns last year. Obviously, more touchdowns better, but I wasn't too concerned. I actually think he'll have a decent season. I actually think he'll end up number one.
I genuinely hope he. I mean, he probably will be number one, but like, I hope he. I mean, ultimately, I don't want a player to not do well. You know, just to spite me.
Yeah.
You know, I hope he does that. I hope I'm proving wrong. But I'm kind of like with you. It is difficult, but I think Johnson's got to step up a bit as well. He's got to get them. He's got to get a team, but he's got to score.
They both have. Pickens has got to do it.
Have to. Yeah, but
Pickens has got to do it. It's all right. It's all right catching, you know, these spectacular catches, but when it's only 2 catches, 3 catches a game, it's not going to get us anywhere.
That's
really.
True. That's true.
I mean, in pre-season, he's been on fire. It's like those drives. That first drive against Tampa was all mainly to him to drive down like the yards to get to the end zone, and then that run would have been like a 25-yarder, 35-yarder
without that block.
Without that block, without that massive block, and he wouldn't have gone to the house. So it's like, you know, there's things that he's doing that are just, you know.
I'm happy with. I'd be happy with like Johnson getting half the reps he could, but then also being that team player, making those blocks.
Okay, yeah, okay. He's got the body for it.
I'm talking as a receiver myself. The most important thing you can do is not just in the passing game, but also in the run game and whenever guys make a break, is just make that block and make sure you can get that extra yard. So if it's 2nd and 8, make that block to turn that potential 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 into a new set of downs. Make those blocks, just be a physical presence. Saying that also, I think just from a purely tactical point of view, Pickens, especially in the slot, would be a matchup nightmare because he'll force the safety to cover him, he'll force a nickel to cover him and double team him. And then on the outside, one-on-one out wide.
There was a head shake there, Rhys.
No, I'm thinking Deontay Johnson in the Z. And then if you're thinking from the slot receiver position to the X, if you're looking at a George Pickens, cover that. Just cover that. You got to think as well, this year the passing game is going to be completely different. It's going to be. I know we've still got the same offensive coordinator. The limitation for our offense and our receiving offense this year isn't the players, it's the coordination of it. Because you've got a 2nd-year QB now who hopefully will take that 2nd-year jump. You'll have an offensive line this year
that's my hot take, by the way.
Pre-season has given Kenny Pickett more than a 2.5 seconds.
And that works together.
Throw the ball and dump it away. I mean, Pat Freiermuth was 2nd in receptions last year. So that tells you how much time given Pickett to make plays. I don't necessarily think we need to be getting bogged down with who the number 1 is, who the number 2 is. They're They're so different in how they operate that they're almost different positions. Whereas Deontay Johnson's he's your typical Z receiver. He's on the outside. He's going to make yards after the catch. Sometimes he makes negative yards after the catch because he's he sometimes thinks, "Oh, I know, I'll run backwards," and then gets tackled because I don't know. But the fact that you've now got the ability to spread it with Pickens down the seams, down the sidelines, I don't think
But
it's a
not just
one
Pickens.
situation. I think they're going to complement each other gorgeously.
I think that's a nice
and
very
this
good
is
point.
going my hot take, but CA3.
He's going to be a
He is
massive,
going to be a nightmare for some folk.
huge help.
Literally,
You
they are going to
add-
forget
add
about
him-
him, and he's just going to be there.
You've got to
Who's on
account
the-
for him. Like on those
Yeah.
jet sweeps or something, they might actually do some good, just
Yeah.
as a decoy at least, or the very least, because people have got to run with him.
Is when you
I don't even think he's going to be the decoy. I'm going to.
No.
He's going to be the
At
person.
the very
who's gonna
least,
be-
I'll say, yeah.
He's going to be the opposite. They're going to be looking at Johnson, or they're going to be looking at Pickens, and he's just going to be standing there going, "Hello."
It's that old Patriots
Boom.
adage of you cover Edelman, here's Gronk. You cover Gronk, here's
Yeah.
Logan Ryan. You cover Logan Ryan, here's some backup.
Yeah.
It's that thing of it's always the next man up.
It's a gooey feeling, isn't it? It's a
There'll
good
be-
feeling.
There'll be games this year where George Pickens will maybe have one reception because essentially a defensive coordinator will go, "We are not
Fucking
letting
hell,
him do
Pickens.
anything against us.
Mhm.
We will double, we will triple him." Okay, fine. Then Deontay Johnson gets single teamed, he gets the ball. If they double him, we give it to Calvin Austin. You couple of those, you've then got Muth, and you've got you've got the other tight ends we can use as well. So
It's
It's been a long time since I've been this excited
I know.
about like the wide receiver core.
And it meant
The last time we had this, we had Brown, we had Bryant,
and Juju.
Wallace.
no, this is before Juju. This is like pre-Juju. Like we had Brown, we had Bryant,
the bees.
we had
the killer
Rodgers.
bees.
Eli Rogers.
Yeah, and it was just like, well, who are you going to chuck it to? Anybody, because one's covered, the other one isn't. It was,
Yeah.
And Bell out the backfield.
yeah, you're throwing Bell and Heath at the same time.
and you still got Najee and Jalen Warren, who are two of the best receiving running backs in the NFL as well.
Don't
to
get me
add that
started
to
on
it.
Warren right now.
Yeah,
I
and you
am
haven't
like,
you haven't even mentioned Allen Robinson as well, who's just
There you go.
coming
Yeah,
in.
yeah.
who's-
Al
who,
Roboler as
at
well
the minute
coming in.
looks like
Yeah.
he's rejuvenated.
Yeah,
Um,
I've
like
been
from
going
all
over some,
reports.
just going over some of the stuff like, and I've realised I've gone over like previous fantasy leagues. Like Robinson has constantly been like a wide receiver flex over his like Bears and Jaguars like
Hello.
seasons.
Hello,
Hello.
hello, I can hear you.
Hello.
No,
Can nobody hear me?
I can
Yeah.
hear